Timothy Bamidele is with the Center for Media and Society. Thank you very much for obliging us tonight. Your coalition has deployed 800 observers across all parts of Osun with real-time reporting. From what you've seen on the ground, what is the overall picture of the electoral environment tonight?
Very much. Yeah, we've been coming around to Osun State as a program of the cohorts operating under the European Union support to democratic governance. My organization, which is the Center for Media and Society, is in the component 4 of this intervention, along with the International Press Center. So we've had a lot of engagement in Osun State. For the past 6 weeks, we've engaged the media. We've had Citizen Opinion Lab. We've engaged the electoral management body. So our intervention at the program level involving other stakeholders, including TAF Africa, IAGA, basically is just to ensure, to see to the credibility of the electoral process, that the rule of the game is abided with. So a lot has been done in terms of engagement, and also in order to see that we have effective monitoring, like you did mention, yeah, that figure you gave, we'll be able to possibly still give you supply, but it's a bit beyond that figure. So we'll be having observers around the state, okay, that will be monitoring that election, and then they have been trained, we build their capacity. Also, we are working with Nigerian Union of Journalists as well as NAWJ at ensuring that the Osun State election is properly covered such that we can see the process, which is very fundamental. Remember, we have spoken about democracy. We are not trying to redefine democracy. It's government of the people. By that definition, we want to see the oxygen so that people can go out and cast their vote freely. As we speak, yeah, we are in Osun State, and all of us are familiar with the narratives. Yeah, prior to the election, we have had what we call baseline studies, okay, that we did, program-wide, along different thematic areas, including security, media environment. And you know that Osun State media environment is very dynamic. There are 35 radio stations. There are 3 television stations. There are about 19 print and about 11 online. So it's a dynamic media environment. And we also know that the media too are vulnerable. So we are working with them to ensure the safety of journalists. And we have done extensive work, especially in the area that has to do with misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. We've built the capacity of the journalists in Osun State to be able to fast check. And this is part of what we'll be doing in situ at the Election Observation Hub, where we'll be having partners, where we'll be, fast checking and ensure that we amplify messages that we ensure that the election in Osun State, interests of all stakeholders are covered. I must also add this, that one of the things that we would love to see in this election, especially against the backdrop of security or issues that have pervaded the atmosphere, is to see that on election day, institutions of government, either at the state or at the federal level, play the game according to the rule. Right. So these are our areas of overarching interest, and then so far so good, all hands are on deck. And we also, from our engagement, we have seen that Osun State citizens are willing and ready to come out. So case of voter apathy may not be pronounced, but we have to see how it pans out
on the day. You certainly have boots on the ground across the state. So could you tell us some of the areas or issues that are currently still giving your observers the greatest concern? And are there perhaps emerging flashpoints that you think require immediate action?
Yeah, what I can tell you safely is that putting observers out there is not just for putting them there or placing them across the local government. These observers have been trained in terms of capacity on what to do and what to look for. They are guided by ethics of observers. They are guided by ethics. For instance, our observers are, media professionals, right? and we have trained all observers across. There are areas of our interest we want to see. When will the poll open at different polling units? We want to see the functionality of the beavers. So as we speak, we cannot preempt what happened on election day. But what we know we have done diligently is to have built the capacity of these people. They are not going to interfere in the process. They are going to watch the vote, watch the process. And there are different layers, stages in terms of when the poll opens, accreditation, functionalization of beavers, and all those processes are, because it's about process. You see, democracy is about process. And when the process flows, possibly arrival of polling officers at the time 8:30 the poll should open, accreditation process, and then voting process. We want to see if there are inclusion in this exercise. Are PWD allowed to cast their vote? Are the environment comfortable? We want to see involvement of women. We want to see if the environment allows them. So they have interest in every area of this intervention. So that's why I say to you that the training covers those areas that eventually flip into the outcome. So it's about the integrity of the electoral process, including transmission, of the result of the election.
How effective has the real-time monitoring system been in maybe identifying incidents, verifying reports, and potentially allowing authorities to respond before situations escalate?
Well, thank you very much. Well, I experienced in this democratic process, Osun will not be the first one. We just returned from Ekiti State, and we came with lessons. But that's not to say that the dynamics of Ekiti will be the same as that of Osun State. But what I can tell you is this. Based on the training we have provided for our observers, and based on the working knowledge of the environment, based on the baseline we have done, I said that we should not preempt it, but I'm trying to say that we have structure in place. For instance, our observers, we know where they are. We have dashboard to be able to see the flow of information at the back end. And then we are working also with the media to amplify necessary information as it were. We are working with the security agencies at the higher echelon level. So because of that handshake, it is quite easy for us. For instance, let's use a case study of fake news that could hamper, that could have negative consequence on the election. We are working with media, so we'll just do, because we have Fast Checkers Institute, we are working with National Fast Checking Coalition. So as we see, we amplify to media organization on that area.
All right.
On security, we are also working, we have networking with security. At the media component level, we have to protect journalists, very important to us. We are also working with security at that level. So in terms of creating a pipeline for communication, for things that will be addressed, I think it's part of what we have put in place to get done.
I guess at this point, everyone cannot wait to get this process done, so we know if our preparation is going to give us a clear democratic process. Thank you very much for speaking with us.